Welcome to this week's episode of the Declutter 360 podcast. I'm Lauren Diekman, a certified home organizer and mindset coach who's created this space that is dedicated to helping you unlock your potential to live an organized life once and for all. Are you ready to get organized from all angles? Let's dive in. Hey there, thanks for joining me this week. You know, it is springtime here and the weather has been a little bit of a roller coaster, but for the most part, we've had some really gorgeous weather. We've had great temperatures. This is an excellent time of the year to be getting outside, getting everything ready, getting ready to take care of your lawn. The kids are wanting to pull out their bikes and their rollerblades and scooters and whatever else they've got going on in your garage. It's also an excellent time to really take a good look at that space and decide if it is functioning in the way that you truly want it to. Are you able to park your car in your garage? Do you have a two-car garage, but you can only park one car in there? Do you want to get a second car in there? Is there something else you want to be able to utilize your garage for that you currently don't have the space for because your garage has become a clutter catcher? Our garages can become the largest clutter catchers in the house sometimes. And, I guess technically it's outside the house, but this is a part of your house too. And I have helped countless clients regain control of their space within their garage. And so today I want to offer just a few little tips and some things. I don't want to say they're tricks, they're really just things to consider, to really take the time to think about when it comes to your garage and how you want to use it and how you are using it. Because the fact of the matter is, all too often, how you want to use the space and how you are using the space are two very different realities, my friend. But another big reality when it comes to garages, I mentioned that they can become the biggest clutter catchers. So they're also one of the easiest spaces, in my opinion, to get overwhelmed in when you go to try to tackle the project that is organizing and decluttering, right? The most important step in organizing your garage. So the first little piece of advice, or the first tip I want to offer you, is to know, as always, that you do not have to tackle this entire space at one time. I don't know about you, but my life is incredibly busy. We have all kinds of activities and things on our calendar that we need to go do, that we want to go do. And so for me to be able to block off an entire day, let alone an entire weekend, to tackle a project like a garage all at once, if it has become super cluttered and really needs my attention to go through things in a detailed way to make the impact that I want to make in that space. And this is true for any space, but especially when you're thinking about a garage, that in and of itself, that being able to set aside a block of time to adequately attack a space like this is daunting. Like, how on earth, when am I going to find the time to be able to tackle a space of this size with this much stuff? Okay, and if you have had that thought, I want you to remember that you have permission to tackle this in phases. And not just permission, but that's actually the recommended way to do it. Okay, that's the way that's going to help you stay fresh It's going to help you minimize the frustration and the overwhelm. If you are doing this project by yourself or doing this project with your spouse, maybe it's very easy to get sucked into trying to just tackle it all. But what I always tell my clients, if you're working on this without a professional there in your space with you, then it's a great idea to take a look at the space as a whole and then give yourself a little bit of time to do some planning about how you want to tackle the space. What do you see within that space? Knowing what your end goal is, do you see any little mini goals that you can pull out? Can you divide the garage into different zones, different areas? Today we're going to tackle this side of the garage or this one, if you've got some shelves in your garage already, maybe I'm going to tackle this one shelving unit and I'm not going to even look at the rest of this garage today. Or maybe it's just that I'm going to tackle this one shelf, this one corner, this one category of stuff, however it feels best to you, whether it's to divide it by spaces, divide it by categories of items, whatever feels right is right. And this is going to look really different for everybody, okay? Depending on your own personality, depending on the current state of your garage, depending on what you want your garage to look like or how you want your garage to serve you, right? This process is going to look super different for each person. It has to be individualized. That's not a bad thing, okay? So that's my first step is to just make sure, I've talked about this with closets, I've talked about this with your kitchen, I've talked about this in so many different spaces that you're not biting off more than you can chew all at once, because it's going to help keep you motivated and excited to see that tangible evidence that you're doing the work and then getting to reap the benefits over time. Okay, the next thing I want to suggest to you is as you're going through your stuff in your garage, absolutely be categorizing. Pull like items together. Create zones in your garage if they don't already exist. Have a zone for all your kids' stuff. And think about and be really intentional and purposeful about where those zones are located, who's going to need to be utilizing the items from those zones. Make sure they're accessible. Don't go putting all of your kids' riding gear and bike helmets up real high in a far back corner where they're not going to be able to get to them unless you want to be the parent who has to come out every single time your kid needs something. Put those things, create that zone in a space that's accessible for them. Allow them to be independent in accessing their things as much as possible. Same thing for you. When I've talked about the idea of prime real estate, this exists within your garage as well. So things that you are going to be reaching for regularly need to be in areas of your garage where you can access them easily, where you aren't creating barriers for yourself to get to those items. Because when that happens, when you create barriers for yourself, you are more likely to go out and rebuy that item than you are to try to actually access it. Or if you are in a situation where there has been so much clutter in your garage for such a long period of time, you may have fallen into this cycle for a while where, maybe you're looking for a certain tool or, something to work in the yard and you can't find it. So you buy the item again, but then it falls into the clutter. You can't find it. So you buy the item again. That cycle not only isn't financially responsible, right? You are wasting your money, but you're also wasting your space because those items still exist somewhere. Even when you can't find them, they exist. They're in your garage, in your space. You just can't get to them because you continue to add to the clutter. So zone your things. think about that prime real estate idea. Make sure things are in an accessible location. And that might mean that at different times of the year, you're rotating where things are located within your garage. Maybe you don't need to be accessing your snow shovels or your rock salt, ice melt, whatever that's left over from the winter. You don't need to be accessing that right now, or gosh, I hope you don't, depending on where you live, okay? It's May. We can be done with those things now, right? But maybe those can go somewhere that's a little bit less accessible in your garage for now, so that other things that you do need in the springtime, maybe your things for your garden, maybe things for caring for your lawn, whatever that may be, is in a more accessible location. And then come late fall, when you're no longer needing your gardening supplies, but it's starting to, look a little more like winter, then you can rotate those things out so that you can put those away and get out the other things for the winter that you're going to need access to during that season. Remember that your spaces are dynamic. Okay, just because you set them up one way doesn't mean it has to stay that way. And when you're really intentional about setting up your zones, then you have granted yourself permission and the power to be able to alter those zones easily to make things more accessible for you throughout the years. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to garages is this often becomes a catch-all spot where we toss things that we're not sure about. Are we ready to let go of this? I don't know. We'll just toss it in the garage. And I think a lot of people, tell me that they do this because they're going to have a garage sale, right? So I figure I may as well just put that stuff out in the garage and have it ready to go. Okay, if you have a garage sale pile in your garage, you better have a date on your calendar for said garage sale. I'm serious. This is not a space where your stuff goes to die and just accumulate and become a clutter catcher. This is a space for you to utilize in the way that you need and want to utilize it. So you can do that and you can have a garage sale successfully, but you have to have that date on the calendar and you have to stick to it. And you have to have that garage sale and meet all your neighbors and maybe sell lemonade, have the kids have a lemonade stand with it, whatever it is that you want to do. But when that garage sale is over, do not bring that stuff back into your garage or back into your house. Don't tell yourself, I'll put this out at the next garage sale next year or in the fall or whenever. I have had plenty of garage sales in my day, but the last few that I've had, I mean, it's been quite a while since I've had a garage sale, but the last few that I've had, when that garage sale is over, when I feel like, okay, I'm done, I've had enough of this, I pack everything up in the back of my vehicle and I drive it to a donation center. Because I've already made the decision that I'm ready to let go of these items. There are very, very few things that I would pull out of a garage sale pile that didn't sell that I would try to then sell another way. Okay, if it's a high ticket item or something in maybe brand new condition that's going to be worth my time. My time is valuable, right? Just as valuable as this stuff, if not more valuable. And so for me, the most efficient way to clear out the garage sale leftovers is not to hold on to them for another garage sale. It's to give them through life in new life through donation. Okay, if they did not find the right person through my sale, then I will hopefully set them free at a donation center and allow them to find new life that way. Lastly, I want you to really think about, again, that intentionality of what you want your space to be. how you want it to function for you. Can it function the way that you want it to, looking at the stuff that you want to keep in that space? So this is something, I guess, to consider once you've had the opportunity. And like I said, it might take multiple sessions, but once you've had that opportunity to go through your stuff and pick out and be intentional about what you want to keep, now look back and decide, is this reasonable? Is this a reasonable amount of stuff for this space to still serve the purpose that I want it to? Or do I need to take another look at my stuff? Do I need to ask myself some hard questions about when's the last time I used that tool? Or how many shovels does one human need? Do you keep buying a new snow shovel every couple of years because the old snow shovel is getting worn out, but for whatever reason, you just can't get rid of the old snow shovel. So now you have 5 or 6 snow shovels, but there's really only one good one that you like to use. Friend, keep the one good one and get rid of all of the rest. Trust me on this. You have got to be more objective about your space, and you're the only person who can make those decisions because you're the only person who knows what purpose you want that space to serve for you. Lean into that, and you can easily create a space within your garage that serves that purpose. All right, my friend, go take a look at your garage right now. And then go take a look at your calendar and see when's the next time. Hopefully you've got a little bit of time, maybe in the next week or two, to start this process for yourself. Come and chat with us about it in the Facebook community. Let me know how your garage is serving you and how it could serve you better when it's organized from all angles. Have a great day, my friend. Thank you for tuning into the Declutter 360 podcast today. I am so grateful that you found me and that we can partner together to help you live life organized from all angles. Whether this was your first time listening or you've heard every episode, you'll want to join my email list so you don't miss a bit of the inspiration and motivation to help you stay the course in living organized. Check the show notes for the link to join, okay? And hey, if you found this episode to be particularly helpful or inspiring, I would be so honored for you to share it on socials so we can grow the impact of these messages together. Oh, thank you so much. All right, my friend, that's all for now. Tune in next week for more on the Declutter 360 podcast.